So for under 700k, I'm saying the best suburb you can probably purchase in is Sunshine West. Some people won't like me saying this, and they won't like me saying it because it is, don't get me wrong, a lower demographic income area. However, it is quite tightly held because there's quite a large Asian community there. And Asians, look, I'm half Asian myself, to give you an idea. Asians don't like selling homes. They hold on to them, they upgrade them, and when they sell, it's generally for a specific reason. It's not to have fun. They sell it for a specific absolute need or reason they need to sell for. So that's kind of what they do. That's just how Asians operate. And Sunshine West, it's to give you an idea, it obviously neighbours Sunshine, which I would say is going to be quite a major centre for Melbourne. It's all built. There's nothing more that can be built here. To give you an idea as well, Sunshine's got a whole new hospital precinct. There's a lot of government jobs going out there, a massive amount of government jobs, which will always be there. So it's going to be like an employment / industrial / transport centre of Melbourne's future. It already kind of is, but there's a lot more coming here. Having the hospital precinct nearby as well does help it quite a bit. As you can see as well, you've got cafes like this that are popping up everywhere, kind of in Sunshine West and Sunshine as well. It's starting to change. You're getting people of high demographics starting to move out here because it's only about 13k from Melbourne CBD. You can get express trains from Sunshine and quite express buses there too that only take under half an hour to the CBD. The express trains can be like 15, 20 minutes to give you an idea because they only stop at literally Footscray, then go straight in towards the CBD. So it is a major area for a lot of people to go through. And look, the thing about it is that I actually like about it, it's really the next spillover suburb and it's very well located. So I've already gone in location, and mind you, I'm talking about the eastern side of Sunshine West and not near the power lines and all those major roads. So don't buy if it backs on the power lines. Don't buy in the far west of the suburb. It won't perform the same as the other parts. I'm talking about the Sunshine side of the suburb really, because that's where it's going to go up. And Sunshine, to give you an idea, is in the mid 800s at the moment. To pick something up in Sunshine West, even at a flat 7, maybe a slightly more or less, is some incredible things to do. You're getting late 400s rent in that, so you get close to 4% yield as well. Most of them are brick, veneer and tile homes. Yes, there might be a few things you might need to do to them, but they're mostly very structurally solid. They're good homes. I like the area. This is majorly going to be affected by pretty much your 5% deposit schemes because it goes right up to 950, and surrounding suburbs will be as well. And the spillover effect of this is going to be crazy because the suburb next door is literally like $150,000 more expensive than it. So it's very underpriced for where it is. So for all those people that wanted me to talk about a suburb that is sub 700 grand, I've done it this time. It won't last long, so get moving now. I suggest you reach out because it's very hard to even buy it at the moment. Let's get into under 800k. And I'm not changing what I said about under 800k. So sorry if people want me to be different, but I don't do that. All I do is I tell you what works and we go with what works. I don't give a shit about what anyone says in terms of, this area is going up, this is the next boom location. Who cares about a boom location for 2 years? I go with what works for 50 years, 100 years. It works forever. That's the idea. It works for now, it worked for 5 years, worked for 10, 20, 30, 50, 100. This is what we want to do. So my strategy is very simple. We buy in these areas. Under 800k is Braybrook again. You have a lot of homes like this. Your brick, veneer and tile. You have your weatherboards as well. Previously, as I've said in the past, Braybrook was known as the Bronx, more than 50% public housing. That was all recently sold, not all recently, but over the last 15 to 20 years, a lot of that's been sold off. About 18 or 19% of the suburbs now public housing, so more than half of it. It's pretty much more than 2/3 have been sold off. About 10% of that's aged public housing as well. So a lot of your vets, a lot of your people from disadvantaged backgrounds who are older might have had a domestic violence situation, might have had a major accident or disabled or something like that, live in these homes. So those locations, they don't even feel like public housing. They feel like literally a 60s, 70s or 80s, retirement village estate kind of thing. That's what they kind of feel like because it's so quiet that it's basically like living in a park suburb. That's what they're like. So they're actually quite good areas to live, mind you. Now, on top of that, what I should say as well is the income's increased significantly. It's gentrifying further. And it's a part of the actual government's Braybrook regeneration project, as you can see here. Now, this is already in should I say, motion, but it's getting a lot more further on in where it is. And the reason for that is, because it is Very well located. It's only about 10, 11K from the CBD. It's on the train line as well. It's on bus lines. It's quick into the CBD. It's like under half an hour in a car, even in peak hour traffic, and it's generally under 15, not under 15, it's probably 20 minutes on a bus or something like that, or train, if you're close enough to the station. So, I mean, it's very well located for all this. It's going to be affected by that 5% deposit scheme as well. And yeah, it's a very good one to buy in. So Braybrook, 100% best suburb to buy in for under 800K. So yeah, that's basically my deal of the best suburb for under 800K in Melbourne. Let's get into under 900K. So under 900K, pretty simple. I've mentioned in the past, I will mention it again. Again, I don't care about following a little trend, any of that crap, any of those sorts of things. I care about long-term trends. And yeah, that's really what matters. So look, I mean, really, the best suburb to buy is right next to Braybrook as well. It is West Footscray, 7 to 9K from the CBD, known best for being the home of the Western Bulldogs, Whitten Oval. You can see it right here. Really, it was known as a working class club of the AFL, very much so. Very proud kind of supporter base there. What I'd say about West Footscray is it's done 9.7% long term. I've mentioned it in the past, and I'll mention it again. And it's done next to nothing for like 7 to 8 years. Now, under 900K is very hard to find at the moment, don't get me wrong, because it's a very much a moving suburb, and it's very hard to pick up the right dwelling for that. But that's obviously what you got someone like me there for, and it's gentrified quite significantly. So just to show you in recency, and I was already on its method of gentrification before this, but this is just census data between 2006 and 2021. On the right, you've got 2006, so you can see median weekly household income at 1821, median weekly household income on the left in 2021 at 1989. So 2006 on the right, on the left to 2021, 15 years, it's more than doubled. And the ratio of your household income to mortgage repayments has completely shrunk down. So that means people in a week can almost afford their monthly mortgage repayments. That's a very good thing, because what that means is people are holding on homes longer, wealthier people buying in the suburbs. And not only that, you've also got a lot longer residents in the suburbs. So that means also that the actual income is continuing to go up, and you've got units in the suburb too. So imagine what it is for houses. So these are very, very good numbers that we've got in West Footscray. I can't think of much of a better suburb for under 900K that you can buy in Melbourne at the moment. This is going to go up quite significantly over the coming years. Let's get into under $1 million. And I'm going to, again, as I said, I'm mentioning the same suburbs because they're still achievable just. I don't care what anyone says, because I had someone recently actually say, oh, this suburb isn't that good because it's industrial and, you know, this and the other. I'm like, mate, have you been there in the last 10 years and you actually seen the fundamentals behind this suburb? People all the time bring in emotion to things that they shouldn't be bringing in emotion to, because at the end of the day, the market does what it does. It doesn't care about what you think. It doesn't care about what the past is. It does care about what the past is if the fundamentals are there, but it doesn't care about your feelings. It just does what it does. That's the good thing about the market. It's also the should I say unfortunate thing about the market, because people who get emotional just stuff it all up. And the suburb I'm going to mention is Kensington. So Kensington, to give everyone an idea, it's about 3 to 4K northwest of Melbourne CBD. It's right next to North and West Melbourne. And it's pretty much, it is on a train line there. And it's literally like, a 5 to 10 minute trip into Melbourne CBD. It's so close to Melbourne CBD. And really, the old school people, you know, they say it's derelict, this, that, and the other. Yeah, sure. If you want to be an emotional person, care about your feelings, and you don't want to invest money and make money, you can be that person. But realistically, this is what it looks like today. And yes, some parts of it are still a bit dirty and don't look well, but the town centre is quite nice. It looks like this. Area is completely gentrified. And if you want to, anyone who wants to just fact check on this, just go and look at Census 2021 data. If you just look here, bottom left of the screen, median weekly household income, $22.16 a week. Median weekly mortgage repayments, $21.62 a week. So people per week can afford more than their monthly mortgage repayments. The suburb's all built. There's not much of the suburb that you can actually buy, and the stock levels are low. It's next to everything that is good. There's barely any public housing in the suburb as well. And yeah, it's high income earners there. And this is in 2021 too, so the income's gone up since then. Suburbs done a little bit. As I said previously, I did have a previous episode saying you can't buy under for under 900 anymore. I can promise you that does not exist anymore. But under $1 million, you still can. So that's the reason I didn't have it in the best suburbs to buy for the 5% deposit scheme video I had recently, because if a Melbourne 950 is the max. But Kensington's a great suburb, and just look at the location. I mean, it's literally right next to the CBD. You're not going wrong parking your money here, because if you do, you just know for a fact that the gross realization value and the increase of value in your land is going to be significant over coming years. So anyway, for those people who want to bring emotion and bullshit into it, you can avoid it if you have $1 million and go and buy in some shitty new estate or some shitty apartment that's going to make you no money. This is the area I'd be parking my money if I had 950,000 or $1 million. I'll tell you right now, great suburb to buy if you can pick it up. Very hard to, though, mind you. So that's what I'm saying. Great area, Kensington, Victoria. Just look at the income demographics. Look at the statistics. You can't go wrong. Long term, it's grown at about 9.5 to 9.6%, mind you. So you're not going to go wrong in that. Kensington for under 1 million. Let's get into under 1.2. And I do float around this kind of market a little bit, and it's simply because properties go through cycles where you can buy them, where you can't buy them. It's just how it kind of works. So I previously mentioned Newport at under $1.2 million, but I know now, because just looking at the market, it's quite hard to pick up good properties in Newport for that. I actually picked up a very good one for under $1 million recently. So you still can, but comfortably you can with a very good dwelling. That client of mine, mind you, in Newport was very lucky. It was just an agent who didn't get the job done well. It wasn't marketed well. Structurally sound property, had no major defects. He's probably walking in 150 grand plus worth of equity, mind you. So just got lucky and thankfully got it done. But for under 1.2 million comfortably, the suburb I pick is Kingsville. Kingsville was one of the best and is one of the best performers long-term in Australia. It did 10.4% between 93 and 2018 as of the Aussie Home Loans 25-year report. One of the rare ones that you can justify doing 10% long-term. It's a very villagey kind of suburb, mostly detached houses. They look similar to this, like this one called Cronulla in one of the major streets there. A lot of cottages, Edwardian, period, homes, very common Victorian homes there too. Very well maintained and very high income demographics. Now, the reason it's high income demographics is because it's very close to a lot of wealthy job hubs. So City's one, Yarraville's another. You got all the, obviously, managers of warehouses out west too, towards Tottenham. You got the people who work in the hospitals of the Sunshine one and Footscray ones as well. Yarraville has quite a few jobs going around there too. So does Spotswood. A lot of them live in Kingsville. And if you're buying in the right part of Kingsville, it's particularly the longest streets, you can't go wrong buying these. They're actually very underpriced at the moment. I'm picking leaving up for 1.1. So really, Kingsville, though, you just look at the income of it. So this is just the present income. So it's personal, family, then household income. You've got 1202 to 18803. Now, the most important one for me here is personal. And the reason for personal being the most important there is because it helps rents go up longer term. So you might have a dwelling. There's plenty in Kingsville that are two-bedder, smaller dwellings. They'll still rent for a lot of money because people earn a lot of money in Kingsville. So there's a lot of reason why properties in Kingsville can still go up a lot in value. And it's simply because of the income of the people that live there. So Kingsville is my number one draft pick for up to 1.2 million. I've got properties on the market even at the moment to give you an idea that are worth it. So reach out if that's you. But Kingsville is a great one to consider. I'm making it close to this next one, and it's because, I think it's important to mention it, and it's up to 1.3 million. And the suburb I want to mention is Cremorne. So Cremorne's basically the MCG suburb of Melbourne. It's a small suburb on the kind of south, I'd say kind of southern, can I call it? Yeah, southwestern corner maybe of Richmond, right by the MCG. And you get a lot of homes like this, very commonly cottages. They're all on small lots. A bigger lot in Cremorne's like $3 million because it's in such high demand. But it's right next to the MCG, very tightly held suburb, and the income of it is incredible. So here's your census data again. $2,959 weekly median household income, $2,300 weekly median mortgage repayments, monthly mortgage repayments. So what it is here is generally the ratio of income to actual repayments should be no more than 30% of your gross. So a week here, they're earning significantly more. This is like 20%, mind you, of income. They can afford this easily, people that live in Cremorne, to push prices up, even the resident population. And that's in 2021. Market hasn't really done much since then. It's done a little bit, maybe 5-10%, but the income's probably gone up, like 15 to 20% in this time, and probably even more in Cremorne because they're all professionals that live here and higher income earners. So, it's the second highest median weekly income in all of Melbourne. The only one that has high weekly median household income is Kooyong, which is straight across the Yarra. Literally, it's right next to it. So, demographics-wise, Cremorne is my number one draft pick of Melbourne, undoubtedly. Definitely for under 1.3 million. One of the best in the country, for sure. Let's get in under 1.5 million. Mentioned this past, and I'll mention it again, and that suburb's an eastern suburb of Melbourne, and that's Box Hill. Box Hill is probably best known for being kind of the eastern, I'd say, city centre of Melbourne. A lot of apartments, a lot of complexes like this swimming and centre complex, or aquatic complex, should I say, in Box Hill. It's known for having a very large and prominent Asian population, similar to probably kind of like Chatswood in Sydney. But Box Hill really, it neighbours very expensive suburbs, mind you. So it neighbours Balwyn, Mont Albert, North, Surrey Hills. It neighbours very expensive suburbs. It's close to a lot of very good schools as well. So a lot of wealthy families, particularly from Asian backgrounds and other backgrounds, to send their kids. Even should I say European backgrounds, they do send their kids to school here that are quite well off. It's a suburb where you can actually buy properties that are subdividable as well for around that 1.5 million mark. Mind you, the median of the suburb will say probably closer to 1.6, but I'm telling you, Box Hill South, Box Hill North, I've still seen them and got them for under 1.5 before, which is incredible. And it was one of the top performers longer term, mind you, in Melbourne. So you'll see here, this is the 2018 report from just on the right-hand side there from the Aussie Homeline. So you see 1.625 million there. I'm telling you, still pick it up for under 1.5. But in that, it's the fourth top performer, and you can see Kingsville, as I mentioned in the past there as well. Fourth top performer in Melbourne. Median in 2018 was 1.755. Now, CoreLogic might say 1.7, whatever, but I'm telling you, you can still pick it up from there. And 2018 was actually after the 2017 boom. So the market actually come down a little bit in 2018 as well. So, and if at worst stabilized. So it's actually done nothing for about literally 8 years. So you're buying one of the best suburbs in all of Melbourne when it's done nothing for like 8 years. So that's a very good predicator for good future performance, because what will happen there is it'll revert to its long-term average and it'll probably overshoot the mark in coming years. So that's really what you want to do. Box Hill is the best probably suburb, I'd say, at the moment to buy for under 1.5 million. You can't really go wrong there. So that's my pick for under 1.5 million. Let's get into under 2 million. Now, this is a budget getting to genuinely the top end of Melbourne. For a Sydney sider, it probably doesn't sound like that. Maybe not even for someone in Brisbane at the moment, or the inner western beaches of Perth, because it's quite expensive. But top end is really getting 2 million plus in Melbourne. There's a suburb in Melbourne that I really think should be closer to probably 2.5 or 3 million that still is under 2 million, and that suburb is Elwood. So Elwood is in a very expensive peninsula of the inner southeast / bay side of Melbourne. So it looks like this. You can see the city in the distance. It's about 8K from Melbourne CBD. Really, what you need to know about Elwood is it's right between some of the most expensive suburbs of all of Melbourne. So it's right next to Brighton, which is, along with Toorak, the most expensive suburb of Melbourne. And it's also between Brighton and also St Kilda West / St Kilda. St Kilda West is a very expensive suburb too. Elwood doesn't have public housing like St Kilda does, mind you. So effectively, St Kilda is cheaper because it's got public housing. The good parts of St Kilda are very much so more expensive than Elwood, but Elwood is very cheap really for what it is. It's got very good income, very tightly held. It's a smaller suburb by the water, so you have the water and bayfront kind of properties that do push it up, and right by the seaside there that do push it up as well. You've got very wealthy people that live there as well. So look, the thing about Elwood too is upmarket, as I said, beachside and close to CBD. So you see things like this. This is just a Domain article. Elwood, the Bayside suburb full of dogs, prems and fit people. Pretty good way to describe it. That's just a Jerry's Milk Bus. There's a lot of your older sort of heritage, coffee shops and sort of quaint buildings there. It's very popular to see people out having coffees on a sunny day. Yes, it's Melbourne. That's not every day, but it's very popular. Very tightly held. A lot of wealthy families like buying here. A lot of celebrities like buying here as well. Quite a few of the AFL stars and cricketers actually own their homes here. So it's very well known for that. So you have quite a wealthy demographic living here. Just go and look at census as well if you want to, and look at the actual professions. Quite a lot of doctors and finance professionals that live in Elwood too. Quite a few lawyers as well. So that's common amongst a lot of these suburbs. Elwood, Elston, Wick, Rippleside, all these not Rippleside, Ripponlea, sorry, I was getting mixed up just there before. Ripponlea, they're all really popular. Brighton East, St Kilda West, very upmarket professionals that live there. Great suburb to consider in Elwood, under $2 million. That is ridiculous. It should be 2.5 to 3. So if that's your budget, you need to reach out ASAP, because when the minute this goes, it'll really go and they won't exist anymore. They're very hard to even at the moment pick up the right property there for under $2 million, but they do exist. Important thing about Elwood is though, pick up the right dwelling. They're not all good dwellings to purchase. So just a word of reminder for people with that budget purchasing in Elwood. So I'm going to the very top end here, and that's for any budget. And I mentioned this in the past, I'll mention it again because it's kind of only gone up a little bit since I previously mentioned that, and that is Albert Park. So Albert Park's about $2.4 to $2.5 million. Albert Park's really known as, the place to be in Melbourne. Everyone wants to live there. Everyone probably knows it because of the F1. The F1 is in Albert Park, so they literally close off streets and parts of Albert Park to actually run the F1. But really, it's the place everyone wants to be. It's like 3K from the CBD. It's right next to Port Melbourne, right next to close to St Kilda, right next to South Wharf, South Bank, South Melbourne. Tram goes straight up, buses go straight up, 5 minutes, 10 minutes to CBD. Some of Melbourne's most expensive dwellings here as well. Some of Melbourne's wealthiest people live here as well. So you can't really go wrong buying there. I think it's the best suburb in all of Melbourne. A comparative suburb in Sydney would probably be Double Bay or Bellevue Hill, which are $8 to $12 million. So this is like 2.5 to 3. And it's like, the best suburb in all of Melbourne. And if you really want to know, it's got the highest price per square metre in Melbourne. So this was taken a couple of years ago. So Albert Park, you see there, $13,915. That's the most expensive in all of Melbourne. That is around $15,000 today per square metre. So it's the most expensive. So if you're picking stuff up here that you're getting for a pretty good deal, which I've even picked stuff up for under $2 million here, believe it or not, but I'm just being realistic with people that a good dwelling here is, generally, it is generally above $2.3 million. Sometimes you get lucky, don't get me wrong, but there is exceptions to the rule. But if you're picking something up in Albert Park for something like that, you're not going wrong. You can't lose money at that rate. It is so tightly held, it is so well in demand. Every wealthy person wants to buy it, whether they're from Australia, from overseas, moving here, upgrading. A lot of the good real estate agents that I even know work in the West, in the inner city, north, eastern suburbs, outer, even Bayside, live in Albert Park. Heaps of them live there. Very wealthy area. So, really, that's your best suburb of all of Melbourne to buy in if money isn't an issue to you.